I mean, there were like 16 sets and 10 animators.
In the same time, they were doing many sets.
Time. Yeah.
Never would have guessed it. Okay, interesting.
I don't know. So you have to, and there's also like 10 different puppets of the same character.
Wow. Welcome to the No Budget Film Podcast. I'm Ivan.
And I'm Kirill. And today we're joined by Konstantin Rosshoff and Jörger. And they both work in animation in Switzerland. And we actually, the three of us went to the same school in Lucerne to study animation. But what I'm always intrigued by is how people in the animation industry got into it. Because I often hear that a lot of people got into it like from other backgrounds. Maybe somebody was painting or doing photography and so on. And I think you also both started from something else before you got into animation. So perhaps Konstantin, you can start. You can also say what it is that you do in the animation industry specifically and in stop motion, and tell us a bit about how you got into it.
Right, thanks. I started from the art side. I wanted to become a painter, and now I ended up to become a production designer, set builder, and puppet builder. And at the moment, I work in the Opera House in Zurich, and I build sets and sculptures for the big scale. But yeah, actually, I wanted to become a painter, and I started painting and learned it by myself. And then at some point, I thought, yeah, let's learn something like a real skill, because I always thought a bit that painting is a bit like, it's not really. I never learned it like the old masters. I just tried to repaint it. Yeah, so I ended in the animation studies, and then in mid studies I met Marco and Tanai, and yeah, I tried stop motion with them. But now I focus mainly on the design and on the building of the sets, and yeah, that's my way into that.
Okay, I'll go back to you, Marco.
I did an apprenticeship as graphic designer, and on the side I tried out photography and video, and mostly I did like snowboard and free ski videos of my friends, and then I got like hired for smaller jobs in that field. At some point I was a bit bored by it, because like there were quite some limitations to what you can do. And I think even like at the early on stage, I tried to put like a bit of animation in it, like with After Effects or some very basic stuff. And then I think I tried stop motion first time when I was like 21 or 22. Or no, 23 maybe. Then I made like my very first stop motion movie, and I fell in love with it. And then I applied to study at the school to study animation. And first I was like open to other techniques. Maybe I wanted to try 2D or 3D, but I think very quickly it became clear that I really like stop motion and to work with my hands and have like the real set in front of me, and it's not so abstract like 3D. And yeah, then I met Tanai, and I think we did the first big project was a Cartoon Network clip we did together. And that like, I think started it off like really well. And then
it was the audience with the Adventure Time characters, right?
Yes, the Adventure Time thing. And after the study, I was still, during my whole studies, I was self-employed and did filming, and then I went back to that, and I got a job at like a production, like live action company, but that was like super corporate and was boring and didn't really feel the right thing for me. And then I got the chance to work on Sauvage by Claude Barra. And yeah, since then I've been working in stop motion nonstop, pretty much, yeah. And my role, I do animate, but I focus now more on DOP, so camera and lights. Yeah, but I also do post-production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of like DOP stuff, I think Ivan will have some questions for you later because he's also been doing direct, I guess
Directing the photography.
yeah, for live action. So it's interesting to see how the two worlds compare.
Mm.
But I also wanted to ask you. So you went to you were in the same year of the bachelor's, right?
As consent, yeah.
Yes.
And how was the I guess stop motion in that year? Because every year it kind of changes, and usually stop motion is the thing that maybe one or two people do. I think this year I went to the animation premiere in Lucerne, and I saw that there were quite a few like stop motion films this year compared to the previous ones. How was it when you got into it? Were you the only ones?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I was not doing stop motion. I did CG, and I always thought about 2D animation. And I think you both were like the only one in stop motion. I know there were like
I was
two
Arel.
more.
Arel
Yeah,
and
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But the training was not really well in stop motion. I think now they changed a lot, and they have teachers like Joseph Wallace, who's helping to shape the items and even the bachelor movies. So I think there is more infrastructure and help to do this. Yeah. But I think Marco, you know more a bit more about how it was back in your days.
No, I don't know what it is nowadays.
No, back in your days, sorry. How it was when you were studying.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. Like one course, puppet building and animating, and that was about it. Yeah, like 6 weeks, and one, I think, week with Eli Chapuis. He did like one course, but I think it cut short because he got COVID. And then we just had like, I think 2 or 3 days with him, and then he had to leave.
Yeah, I remember I also had my stop motion course, the first one, because I was in my first year at the bachelor's. And we also did it during COVID. And so I made my first like stop motion short.
The dragon one.
The one with the dragon. Maybe, I don't know if you saw it, Boris Over the Clouds. It's this little dragon in a cave, and he receives a message with like a paper plane. Somebody wants
Clouds?
Rain.
Or rain, was it?
Yeah, like somebody wants rain down, like I don't know, somebody. And so then the dragon kind of brushes his teeth, and then the foam that he creates, he sort of spits it out of the cave and creates clouds, and then it starts to rain. That's sort of the concept. But after that, like I saw, like everybody had fun with it, and some people even liked to build all the things, and some people like to animate or during the post production. But then nobody really followed up with it. Most people just did 2D, and a few people did CGI. But I find it very beautiful that it's sort of being brought back now, especially considering AI and everything, and also just the advancement of technology in the animation industry, because it's always going so fast, and everybody says, "Oh, stop motion is going to disappear tomorrow." Then it keeps surviving
Somehow, yeah.
sort of somehow, and it always has this organic feeling to it that I think brings us back to what animation started as, or filmmaking in general, and just art. What is it that you found beautiful about stop motion that got you into it and kept you working on it?
Yeah, I don't think stop motion will ever die out. Because there will always be some crazy people who are gonna do it, and they're gonna push the limits of stop motion. Maybe like Leica, maybe they push it too far. Because I don't see really. I mean, it's beautiful and everything, but it doesn't look like stop motion. It doesn't feel like stop motion. But yeah, you can see how far you can push it. Yeah, but I think I saw like a video of a guy was talking about AI and stop motion and how it may be going to replace it. But I don't think it will ever replace it, because he also said that stop motion attracts like really resilient people who are very resilient, and they do it because they want the challenge, and it's a very practical problem solving. I mean, you always have problems, but there's always a solution and you have to find it. And it's not like somewhere in the code, like if you have a bug in a 3D render, you have to look there. But in stop motion, it's, I think, way more physical problem solving. And I think it's also beautiful in the productions that I worked on, that you really are in the studio and you are there with people. And yeah, it's for me, it's mostly like real art for me. Like it's I mean, I know it's very technical as well, but it's still a nice art. I think it's my favorite art to do. And yeah.
Okay.
Well, from the outside also, like as I never did any animation even, like stop motion seems also such a patient thing to do. Like you have to, maybe, I don't know how many shots can you do in one day, maybe 20, I don't know. And in the end, too many already. Yeah, okay. Because I'm really guessing, so I just don't know, no. But it's crazy, because probably it's just a payoff, like that you get afterwards. That maybe, I don't know if you can even compare it to something else, because I don't know. Sometimes, yeah, short film live action you can even do it in one day. There maybe you have to spend 3 months, I don't know, for 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, no, the usual output is on feature films is like 3 seconds per day.
3 seconds per day. Well, it's a lot though. It's already a lot.
Per animator. Yeah, if you animate on 2s, on 1s it's
yeah. We should probably explain it a little more.
Yeah, because
it's like usually, of course, you animate on 24 frames per second, and you can get away with making one new picture every 2 frames, and the animation will still be smooth. So yeah, if you do that, also you save a lot of time, because if you have to, also, the animation is very, very fluid, too fluid if you animate like one picture every frame, one new picture. So that's how it's done in stop motion and CGI and 2D as well.
But then actually, just a question that I never thought about before, but as I also watched your short films prior, is there any motion blur in stop motion? Because like, I don't know, usually when you shoot with a camera, some actors, you're shooting with a shutter speed that you choose, so you usually have some motion blur, but here you either add it in post or you just don't have it, right?
Yeah, you can use like Go motion. That's like what they used on the old Star Wars movies. I don't really know how it works, to be honest.
I think I saw like a video
You
about
you have like a long shutter and you move the camera, but yeah. But I think we did on Double or Nothing, we did real motion blur, because we had like a shutter of 1 second or 2 seconds, and then we just panned during, like, you have to press the button and there's like a countdown, and then you move the camera during that time to have real motion blur. But it's not normal, no.
Yeah, and Go motion is when you move the sort of the character a little bit while the camera is shooting, right? And then it kind of
You have to move the camera.
Yeah, you move the
because
camera.
Otherwise you have to. Yeah, your hand is there, and then you have to retouch the hand. I don't think. No, I think you move the camera. Yeah.
Okay. And Konstantin, so what about you? What is it that you find appealing about stop motion?
The thing that you can build by your hands, everything, and what I also love is like you have the whole set, and I also think that the making of is sometimes not more, but it's like the same value as the actual movie in the end. And I think also that's the thing why it will be not replaced by AI, because the audience want to see like making of and behind the scenes, and when you see like someone is animating a character and you see it in time lapse, maybe you saw it on Instagram, you see Marco animating the characters in Double or Nothing. It's kind of magic. I don't know. It's really appealing to me. And yeah, in stop motion, what I really love is the textures and the light and how everything moves in the camera. And it's like a movie making in a big scale, but in a really with puppets.
Small
And that's
scale,
something
Yeah.
small scale, yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
actually also about the cinematography, just because you were actually mentioning it before, like how do you, because the sets are like, I don't know, a puppet maybe is like 30 centimeters, I guess. No, it's not big. So how do you like even light? What do you use? Like, because usually lights are huge, even the small ones that you can use, I don't know, for food photography, they're already really big. So how do you actually like create light shapes, and how do you do it?
That's Marco.
It's very similar to live action, but just you're always in the studio, so you don't have like, usually you don't need negative fills. Only maybe if like there is a really bright background and it reflects too much, then you maybe have to use like cinefoil, like cut out like a little piece of cinefoil and then put it like here, that like maybe this side gets a bit darker. But usually you use also like Ari's like big on Sovash it was quite heavy, like the sets were huge and also the studio was huge. So I think the biggest light was maybe Ari, I don't know, 1200 maybe. But and usually you have like a sky panel to like brighten like everything, like give a basic light. And yeah, you have like small dado lights, yes. And if it's like a professional workflow, you usually also, they're like DMX controlled. So you can steer like all the lights on the computer in the program. And you can also animate the lights. You have like keyframes for light settings and color changes or anything. And that's also helpful to have like multiple exposures. So when you have like a blue screen in the back, like you have, because sometimes the set is too big, you cannot have like that big of a set and you need like extension. You have like a blue screen which is not lit during the shooting, or like the main exposure. And then you can have like a second exposure or third exposure for just the blue screen. So you have like a silhouette and you get like really good keys. So you don't have to worry too much about like spill or anything. So that's a big, yeah, that's really good because the puppets don't move. You like have multiple exposures, even if you want like maybe just the fill to add or like have more control in the post-production. A friend of mine, she told me she worked on Artman, and sometimes they had like 10 exposures. So, but she said that was too much. Sometimes you push like the button like to take a picture, and then it takes like 2 minutes to take all the exposures, and that takes just a lot of time.
Yeah, but when you work on a scene, how many people are usually there on set?
While animating?
Yeah, like, well, I guess if it's a smaller film, like for example, your short films, like either Dude or Double or Nothing. How many of you were there, like on set while filming?
Only the animator.
Oh, one animator.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you have like multiple characters, is it usually assigned, like you have one shot that is assigned to you and you do all of the characters and you use the camera and so on, or are there still like maybe two people or so?
If it's like more than 10 characters, maybe there is two people animating. But I've never seen it.
Okay, even on big productions like Sauvage?
No, Sovash was always I think just one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy. So like the lights are fixed and you just like animate the whole day with the same lights, because actually probably they don't change every time you have to make a picture, no?
Yeah. Like as the DOP, it's your role to make everything like work. And like on big productions like Sovashi was, I also animated sometimes. There I worked as an assistant animator, and I didn't get to shoot like too many puppets. But when I did, I was like a lot of checks. Like first, like I think it's like a rough light, and then no, first is like the set dressing team, then comes like the puppet team, and then it's the light, and then the riggers, and then the animator checks like if everything is good, and I think the DOP makes like final light, and then there is like check for like are the puppets good, are they not dirty or anything, is the rigging good, is the set good, is the light good, and then you have to discuss with the director and the head of animation for the animation, and only if you then get like okay it's good, then you can start animating.
Okay, so
it's a
then
lot of-
everyone leaves basically and they'll just leave you alone there for a
Yes.
week.
Yeah. It's a lot of waiting included when you're animator, yeah. And then again, when you finish, everybody comes to check if it's good, or have to reshoot.
Interesting. So in an ideal world, a director could actually make like 4 films at the same time, because he just has to wait for the animator to to do it.
Oh no.
Okay.
No, it's enough stressful. I think Claude, he always, I mean, there were like 16 sets and 10 animators. So he
In the
always
same time, they were doing many sets.
time. Yeah.
Never would have guessed it. Okay,
I
interesting.
don't know. So you have to, and there's also like 10 different puppets of the same character.
Wow.
When you made Double or Nothing, did you have also like different sets throughout like the room and that you moved from one to another?
We had 2 sets, and but I think Eli was there for 1 month, and then it was really like he animated on one set, I prepared the other set, so he could just jump between sets. And I think 1 or 2 times I knew like he was busy for 2 or 3 days with the other set. I prepared the other set and animated the other shots during that time. But no, I think for most of the time it was like one big set and another one a bit smaller. And then we animated what we had because we also had to wait for the sets to be ready and the puppets to be ready, because we didn't start with everything. It was very stressful. I think Connie can explain a bit more to that if he wants to.
Yeah, we did everything kind of in the same time. Like my team and me, we were building the sets and the puppets next to the black box, and always prepared for the next scene, for the next shot. And that was the only way to finish really quickly in a really short amount of time. But it was really stressful, yes, because sometimes it was like, yeah, we need the sets, we need the puppets, and we were not ready because some things happened, and then
Yeah, and also you had a lot of roles in the film, like both of you, right? Like you didn't only do like one thing. Like Konstantin, you did the production design, the storyboards. Also, both of you animated, right? Or
not me.
just Marco? Okay. But when it comes to like, I was thinking, about the first, I guess, stage of like before the animation. How do you make a character that is animatable for stop motion? Because I always have to think about it when I do 2D. I can't draw too many details because then, of course, it takes a lot more time to animate. When you build a puppet, you don't have to redraw it, of course. So you can add more details, I guess, but still it has to be kind of, you should be able to move it pretty easily and so on. So what goes into your mind, I guess, while you're building a puppet?
I started with designing the characters, and then I did in Blender. I sculpted the head, and then I printed the first set of like You have to do the eyelids, to have all the steps of the eye closing and opening. You have to have different mouth replacements. You have to have different eyebrows, or just one eyebrow that you can move on the head. And then you have the eyeballs that have to look around, that you can move the eyes. And we had Eli in this time in the black box, and he was making animation tests, so I could redo the Blender sculpt. And yeah, that was the main thing, the most important thing in the beginning. What will happen in the movie? Will the characters have to talk? What's the emotion of the character, and what do you have to build? Because you have to build everything physically. And then after that, you have to make a skeleton with wires, and then silicone arms in our case, and silicone foot. Yeah, it's step by step assembling the puppet. But you really have to know what the character will have to do.
Yeah. Okay. Do you also do some tests? Like, do you have a, I don't know, I guess a mock version of the set so that you can put the character there and also check how big it is and the dimensions of everything? Or
Normally you have that, but in our case, we just had like the puppet, and then from the puppet we build everything around it. And yeah, in our case till now, it was always a bit, yeah, trial and error. It was really like that.
okay.
So it's also always depending on the film, like in general, as always, but just always keeping in mind that you have to adapt to this, let's say, the script and the action. Like, for example, I guess in Double or Nothing, which is your latest film, if I'm correct, you have a lot of interesting action scenes and even blood and gambling, a bit of everything. First, I wanted to say really interesting, like visually the style that you brought to this film, and also like the ambience, how much it changes. I don't know, the metaphoric scenes and the sets and so on. But also something that I was thinking is that, for example, I don't know, the details, like the fish. You know, I don't know how you say it in English. I think it's the poker fishes. You know, the one that you used to play, probably to because they're like
A little, I mean, the
Chips.
Yeah, the chips.
Just the
Sorry,
chips.
exactly. In Italian,
yeah.
I don't know. In Italian, it's fish, so I don't know how to. But yeah,
Yeah, okay.
thing is, yeah, the chips. For example, because I mean they're already small in real life, but I guess that you had to do them like really, really small, and also the cards and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how much time does it take to design all of that, because you had to design a lot of characters, a lot of different props, a lot of like you have to. I don't know. In my mind, it looks like 5 years for this project, because it's so much, so many things, so many costumes, colors. Like how do you even start?
Yeah, that was a really, really big challenge. Also because the script was really rough when I joined Tanai, and it was kind of like reading his mind, like what does he want to what kind of movie he wants to have. And the story he started to write was so big, and it was for me almost impossible to put it in a movie. So I had to work with a lot of like symbols. For example, this shark in the shark bar, and like a lot of colors, and this topic of greed and money and yakuza and all of that. So that I worked pretty early on in the storyboard phase. I drew them really accurate, because I knew at some point we will not have time for concept art, that every scene will have a concept art. So I just did the storyboard and the animatic really clear, that we could just work with that. But yeah, it was a lot of it was kind of a ping pong between the director and me to figure out, okay, where are we going?
Okay. But
Yeah.
did it always have the same sort of main characters and the same storyline of this American going to Japan and trying to get the guy who was the rich guy in Tokyo?
No, 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 no. No, it was there were even more characters, and so we at some point we kicked some out because I mean now we already have a lot of characters for a stop motion short, but in with this combination of characters, it worked quite well, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to the animation part, like I was wondering, because the limited experience that I have with stop motion, at least when it comes to working with puppets, is I animated quite spontaneously. I didn't have like a spreadsheet where I guess the thing that you would maybe have used in animation like 50 years ago when they used the X sheet and you could plan the whole animation. But to me, in stop motion, that sort of the only way to make an animation where you plan everything thoroughly, unless you want to do it spontaneously. But there's a lot of very complicated animation in that film, and I was wondering, like, Marco, how did that work? How much did you plan every movement, or how much of it did it come out like while you were animating?
I think that depends really on the shot. Like the simple shots, I just went straight ahead. But like with the animation, where is the like camera movement and everything, and no, you really had to plan it out and make like a block. So where you animate like every 6th or 8th frame, and then you discuss it again with the director and see if the timing is right, and you can make like adjustments and can use it like as a reference. And yeah, but it's hard to make it then exactly the same. Even like if you have small adjustments, it's gonna change a lot, especially because you usually when you have a camera movement, you always need also to pull the focus, which is also everything is motion controlled. So yeah, so that's quite a difficult task that is also always in focus, the puppet, and especially if you work with low depth of field, it's really hard to have it always in perfect focus. But I'm also not like I'm not super strict in that way. I sometimes it can be a bit out of focus. I don't mind too much because for me stop motion, because it doesn't have any motion blur on a big screen, it's sometimes for me it's too sharp, or it doesn't look like a movie anymore. So for I'm working on a movie, on a short film, and I already bought some lenses to shoot it with, and those are like video lenses, so they're not super sharp.
So cine
But
lenses,
that's just-
basically.
yeah, those are cine lenses, but just quite cheap macro cine lenses, yeah. But they have like a beautiful vintage look to them, and that's the look I like. Maybe it's just a personal preference. Yeah, but on the last project I worked on is Vers la Forêt. I don't know if you heard about it. It was in Annecy.
I didn't go to NBC this year, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the one with the monkey, right? The
Yeah,
short
from
film.
Smash.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Go ahead.
there I was DOP, and yeah, focus was always a discussion we had. Or at least with Eli, he's a bit focus obsessed. And I was like, no, it's okay. And he was like, maybe. I was like, nah, it's fine. Also, like in motion, it's the normal viewer doesn't really see it. So, yeah.
Okay.
But as you say this, like just because also to have an idea, because I think for a person out, like even inside the cinema or the audiovisual market, like there is completely no information or no idea about how big is the Swiss stop motion industry. Like how many projects are people doing in this very moment, let's say, or usually how many films come out every year, if you even count the short films that these schools make, which, like, I would say short films like bachelor or master projects, like serious projects, not only like small exercise of 1 month. Like how much are they usually, and how many people actually are working in this field? Because really have no idea. But
people like working professionally, it's like 10 to 15 people in the whole Switzerland. It's very, very small, and they don't have work all the time. So right now, I don't know about any projects. I mean, I worked on Irmgard's movie, but I finished 1 month ago animating, and now it's on hold until it's not finished yet. She will finish. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you, but it doesn't matter. No, but she will continue animating, I think, in winter when there's space in school again. And Antonin is making a new one, but it's gonna be filmed in France. And I don't know if, I mean, he asked me to work on it, but I don't know if if the financing is ready or fully, or if they can take someone from Switzerland to do the camera, or if they take someone from France because they're cheaper. Yeah, there is not a lot of projects now. At the moment, I don't think there's any.
So what do you do in the meantime? Like, if somebody works in stop motion and you don't have a film to work on.
I do. Right now, I will go on holiday in 2 weeks for 6 weeks. Enjoy my time off, and then maybe I will work on Antonin's movie, or I will continue writing on my own movie because I got some funding. Yeah, or I do like some freelance work, like After Effects animation stuff, like motion design stuff. Yeah.
But the final aspiration is to become director of stop motion film or something like this. Like it's a final goal, let's say, if you're saying that you were working on your own movie.
The goal is just I want to make a movie, and when it's over, I don't know if I want to do another one. Or I will just continue working on other projects. I don't know.
Okay.
And so, Konstantin, you're working on the Opera House in Zurich right now, right?
Yes, 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 yes. And I also write on my own movie, but at the moment I mainly focus on the opera work because it's a really good education kind of for me to build sets in a how you say big scale, but also modular scale, because we have to build sets that can be moved and like rebuilt and built on another stage in another country maybe or whatever. So yeah, that's really interesting because it's mainly focused on production design. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess there's also a good training ground for you then to make your own films in stop motion afterwards.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is there, because listening to how you make stop motion, there seems to be a lot of I don't know, like mixing between 2D, also a bit of CGI, because you made the models like of the characters and you 3D printed them, and then there's the part where you build stuff. So there's a lot of mixing between all these techniques. And is there something similar in your work in opera? Like, do you also work with these other things that you have learned through animation?
Yes. Yes. Well, we start now to use a bit of 3D printing just for the prototypes, because we always build prototypes in the scale from 1 to 10 or 1 to 5. And then when the production designer comes and accept everything, we just build it in a big scale. And it's really helpful because the 1 to 10 scale is kind of the scale of stop motion. So I can use this a lot, and also like the materials are pretty the same. We also use silicone. We also make molds and we sculpt with clay, and yeah, it's pretty the same, just a bit more rough. It's not, you don't have to have these details like in stop motion.
Yeah, because it has to be visible from a distance, right? On
Yes.
stage. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
What does inspire you usually to think of to create something new, or I don't know, for a project for you both? Like, do you usually watch more animated films, I don't know, or you listen to music, or because also it's, yeah, I don't know, you can't even say probably I watch stop motion because there are not as many stop motion films to watch. But yeah, just to have an idea of your creative process, let's say.
I watch a lot of series and movies, and also a lot of like old paintings or art in general. And I think from there mostly my inspiration comes. It's the old art masters and movies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, it's a lot of times it was music, or just a general feeling I want to put like into visual language, or to express myself somehow. But I don't know, I think inspiration comes very randomly through life, I think. Sometimes you hear or see something funny, or you're like, oh, it would be funny in a movie, or like you hear a quote or like saying something stupid, and it's like, maybe I can use that for something. But yeah, I think, yeah, I do watch a lot of movies, but I don't really like full length animation movies. I rather enjoy like short animation movies, because I think it's every animation movie is like a short, like little world that works in itself. And I think it's like, if you have like a full length film, you get used to the world, and then it kind of loses the magic a bit, like the visual style, or it can also be too much, maybe. I mean, for example, maybe like the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man
It's
into the
like,
Spider-Verse?
yeah, one of those. Yeah, I don't know which one, but like visually, it's so beautiful. But then it gets a bit too much, I think, in the end. For like I think just a short film would have been really nice, maybe 15, 30 minutes for me personally. Yeah, I like to dive into different like worlds or like minds of people who created this and have like very unique visual style.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
No, just because it's a discussion that we usually have, and it's a topic we speak a lot about between ourselves. It's like, if it's more important to live and have experiences, let's say, or to practice and learn the field, let's say. Because, I mean, for filmmaking, for live action, for example, I think it's important to practice, but still, you don't have to practice as much. I don't know. I mean, you have to, but it's not. I mean, it's not like that. In the end, you anyway, even if you're a DOP director, you have assistants. The sets are big, so even if you're not like the grandmaster, the Fincher director, probably the film is gonna be good as well. But if you don't have like life experience, and you don't, I don't know, lived some episodes or went through something interesting, then probably your story will reflect it, or maybe you just will not have a story as interesting as I don't know, Wong Kar-wai or Tarantino. So how do you see it for stop motion, for example? Because I mean, at least to me outside, it seems that it's a field where exactly you have to practice really a lot, just on the small details. Because as you said, you just move the focus, and it's not like happy accident in a film. It's a bad accident. Maybe you have to redo the whole scene, and you just lose 5 days because of this.
I haven't practiced that much, to be honest. It's just you go on, you don't really have time to practice. I mean, maybe animators, yes, but I'm not practicing light or anything. I don't know. It sounds maybe a bit stupid or a bit arrogant, but I don't know. It just go with the flow. Yeah. I don't plan too much in advance, to be honest. I do have I do look at like references of how it could look or should look, or the feeling, or I know about like color theory and light theory and everything, but I think you just learn the most when you just do it to make a movie. And I didn't like practice. I didn't do any work or like light work in stop motion besides the movies that I worked on or animating. I never. I don't know. Maybe I'm too lazy, but I don't. I don't have the urge to practice animating in my free time because I rather have free time and go out and do something nicer than being in a dark box all day. Yeah.
So your answer is to live and to have experiences, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm just lucky that it worked out, but I don't know. I mean, I do have practice like from filming, like free ski and skiing, and didn't just come like that. I mean, I had or practice maybe before, but maybe just not. Yeah, I mean, I did photography a lot, and maybe just like a visual and basic visual understanding, and then I think I rather watch more like YouTube videos about cinematography, but also sometimes they just tell you what everybody tells you, and maybe you just have to do it your way. But just for the technical stuff, I think it can be helpful. But yeah, be careful who you watch there. It's because sometimes it's just a lot of bullshit and too much talking and not.
And what do you think, Konstantin?
Yeah, kind of same because I mean, in my field, production design, it's really like just do it. There is not really a big. I mean, yes, training maybe for painting or drawing and sculpting, but in the end, like I trained a lot when I was younger, but now I just work. so it comes like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that usually the work that I see from somebody, or some films, the directors who have also done a lot of things or some things that are maybe even completely outside of filmmaking or art in general, brings like a completely new perspective into what they're doing. If they have a background in like biology or physics or something, you see that they have a very different approach to filmmaking, or literature. Like you learn from, I guess, the old masters of storytelling, and the way you tell stories is different, maybe more classical than people like to make them nowadays. Because nowadays, a lot of films try to get out of this three-act structure, and they try to make something that people haven't seen before. But I guess what you consume makes you who you are. And sometimes people maybe ask me like, "Oh, I want to study filmmaking, or I want to be a director," and so on. But I usually like to tell them, well, maybe, yeah, learn filmmaking to a certain extent, but then also explore other things, learn anthropology or something, and that will shape the way you make films as well. Um, do, do you see that as well? Because you also have, I guess, you like technical stuff. You like, the technology behind filmmaking, and also informs how you make films, I think.
Yeah, and I also completely agree with them in the end. Like, for sure, you have to have a certain level of technical preparation, but in the end, it's what you bring in your background that makes you as a person and as a artist as well. And yeah, like for example, in our case, we both come from another place, so many of our stories that we are just also thinking about, they're always about that in the end, or always about not belonging to a place, or I don't know, not knowing where you come from, this stuff like that. And in the end, it just comes from how you grew up. Like probably still a lot of things, a lot of ideas that we have are influenced by our childhood, or at least something that started there, which is also interesting. But yeah, I think it's very important to live, yeah, and enjoy free time, because else you just don't want to do anything anymore, and and maybe stop. So
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to be able to tell something, and for this you have to experience something. And if you're always like practicing, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, you will start making films about making films, like some directors do.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
Woody Allen always makes films about people who write or make films,
Yeah.
because
Or about himself.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, but the problem is not that everyone is Woody Allen, so probably other people are not as interested to know about personal ways.
mhm.
Unless you're Werner Herzog.
Exactly, unless you're Werner Herzog. Yeah, that's a question we should ask him actually, maybe.
Werner Herzog.
Yeah, how do you go about life experiences?
Yeah.
No, but do you have any like except for your films that you are writing right now on your own? Do you have any upcoming projects that you're planning on doing together, or maybe you would like to do something that I don't know you discussed or anything?
I mean, for my movie, I would like to work with Marco again. Yes, of course, but it's not sure when this will happen because it will be something after 28. Yeah.
Okay.
For me, similar. I would like to work Connie, maybe for the concept art or production design. But I don't know when that is gonna happen. If I get production funding. For now, it's just how do you say, development money. I got some, and it's not that much, so I have to live off something. So I guess I will do some stuff myself, but maybe there is some money left to give some work to other people. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the thing that takes the most time usually for us as well. Like, trying to make our own films. A lot of the time, it's just waiting to see, okay, who's on board and do we have the money and how can we get more money.
But the problem that I see there is also that exactly one thing is for a live action, probably you can say, I don't know, already if you say, yeah, we're gonna shoot our next short next year, it's already so far away. Like usually you just shoot it right ahead, or I don't know, maybe in 6 months. Probably for an animation project, you don't even you plan on this long timeline because it takes so long. But also probably I guess it shapes your mentality a bit because you just don't have any FOMO, probably because you're just focused maybe on one thing at a time and you don't lose time on too many things, which today I think is a big problem that we have everyone. So probably it's a good medicine for for your health that you're doing this kind of projects. I don't know if you ever thought about it.
It's kind of the reason why I ended up in the opera, because I was also like waiting for Sauvage for the set building phase, but it was really not clear when it will start, and I needed to have a job and to live from something. So that's where the opera came in place, and I started to work there, and yeah, now I ended up there. Yeah, because of the delay of productions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, I came to mind that I think Marco, you worked on a live action project before, right? Or maybe even more than one. But I saw on like your Vimeo that you have what was it? Something with mountains.
Oh, like the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very spontaneous.
Okay.
The two friends of mine, I filmed with them before, I think, and then they asked me to come and film. And actually, we wanted to go somewhere else, but then I think they made this project like in 1 or 2 days, the whole concept, and then we went one day to this like tower in the Engadin, and we filmed it in one day, and yeah, that was about it.
But are you also interested in doing like live action projects, or was that more like a spontaneous thing that you just did once, or maybe we'll do a few times, but not as a professional like DOP like full time, I guess.
I think not dancing. I'm really not into dancing. I think they just liked my work, and I had time, and they had no money, so I guess yeah. But they made a very, very beautiful movie lately. What's it called? In Viadi. I think it's on YouTube as well. With like real professional DOP and everything, like better production, and yeah, I don't know. I thought about it, I think, this year to make maybe something shorter, like live action based, but I don't know how to start or like to get a crew, or I don't know. But I think I would like to film again a bit, but I think nothing like corporate anymore. And I also don't know really how to work with people anymore or like actors. I'm more like, I don't feel comfortable directing people, I think,
Okay, but
in front of the camera.
the first film that you made together was Dude, right? And so you directed, like all of you, the three of you with Tana, you directed, right? How was it, like directing all together?
Really difficult.
No, I don't
Yeah,
have.
because we also wrote the story, the three of us. But I think at some point we managed, like, it was the moment we set on the same vision, kind of. But in the beginning, we were writing, the three of us, the story, and that was really a big challenge, I think. Yeah.
Because you all had different like visions of how the film should be, or
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, not like huge differences, but yeah, I think. But I don't really remembering us like directing on set together, to be honest.
No, we really had our departments kind of in this time. Like,
And I also think once the animatic was set, we just agreed that this is how we're gonna animate, and that's kind of the acting that is gonna be needed. But
no, true.
yeah, because a lot of the decisions are made beforehand in animation anyway, and which is I guess both the good thing and the bad thing for me, at least, because yeah, of course, if you're working with other people and then you decide everything beforehand, then I guess there's less arguments while filming. But in live action, yeah, you can prepare, like the projects that we worked on, like you can prepare a lot beforehand, but then on set you will still have so many accidents or things that you just did not expect, and you have to agree on the spot, come up with a solution and agree on it on the spot. And yeah, it is difficult to find somebody who you can find a solution with, especially in a short amount of time. I guess animation allows you to discuss it more at length, at least for me, like in the projects that I made in Lucerne. At least it was the adult swim ident that I made with three other people, and yeah, it was a little difficult sometimes because we all sort of had different ideas of how it should be, but then having so much time to discuss it before even animating it, allowed us to do that. But you sort of separated your, I guess, tasks, and one of you like was more focused on animation, the other one was more focused on production design and so on. Did you separate these things as well between you?
Yeah, in the end, it was a bit like that. But in the beginning, we did kind of everything. But then at some point, we realized, like, okay, the strength is not everywhere the same in the same field. So we kind of separated it. Yeah.
I think at some point I was also tired discussing the aperture of the lens, because I think I always wanted a bit more open or shallow, and Tana was always like, no, then it looks like miniature. I was like, and you always had to find a compromise on the aperture. But yeah, that's one thing I told on Double or Nothing. Like, if I'm DOP, that's my choice and not the director's choice.
Okay.
Oh, that's also important boundaries to know. I'll say it's also more productive, I guess, because when you discuss too much on things that maybe in the end no one even notices so much. I mean, maybe the aperture you notice if it's f2.8 or like 16, but it's like, I don't know, should the character's hair be like this or like this? I don't know. Probably it's an important choice, but it's not like how is the ending. I don't know. So in the end, probably what you also were telling before is that finding someone whom you can find a solution and is also productive and is also a good solution, like that actually works. So that's really not easy, but interesting, because I mean 3 people directing is for sure. But anyway, in animation it's common to direct films together, from what I see. No, I mean feature films. Usually they have couple directors also. No.
Yeah, especially feature films. Like if you look at all these, Spider-Man to Spider-Verse, I think like all the new films at least that I saw.
Also the old ones, I remember.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I think there were a few where it's just one auteur, like The Incredibles. It's just Brad Bird and he's doing his thing, or Andrew Stanton, I think, doing his Nemo and Dory. Like I think he directed it himself. But yeah, usually there's a lot of more collaboration in terms of directing. But the films, Sauvage was only Claude Barat, right?
But he had a co-writer, Yama. What is it called? Do you know her?
No.
She made a Portrait of a Girl on Fire.
Oh, she was the screenwriter or the director of that film?
Yes.
Director? Screenwriter.
Screenwriter, okay.
Screenwriter, co-screenwriter, yeah. They wrote together. And I think also for his new movie he has a co-writer. Yeah. I think co-writer is more common, yeah, for him.
It's also a lot more complicated to write, I think. There aren't a lot of directors who are also good at writing or feel confident enough about that.
Yeah, I'm also looking for one.
Yeah, I mean, I think something that I've been thinking about recently is maybe adapting an existing work is also an interesting solution to doing that, because you kind of have your co-writer in the original writer of the novel, maybe, that you want to adapt, because you already have a basis to work on. And sure, you have to adapt a lot of things, a few things, or maybe a lot of things, depending on the nature of that novel. But that's a good start, I think. Have you ever thought about adapting a novel into, a film of yours, the both of you?
Really?
And you did, no? No? Okay. No, me neither.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I'd take like themes out of a book, adapting. Yeah. No, sometimes I read like a book and say, oh, this could make like this part could be nice in a short film, but no, not really.
And the thing.
What about you?
Have you?
Me? Or
Yeah.
well,
Both of you?
I kind of did it with the master film that I made, Dangerous Virtue. That was an adaptation.
Yeah, right.
But that was more difficult. Like I made it more difficult for myself because I basically, it's a very surreal story, and so I had to sort of adapt it to what I could do while keeping the essence of the book. So I couldn't really take a scene exactly as it was written. And so it was more difficult, but also, I don't know, seeing it from a distance now, like rewatching it, I think it is a bit more mature as a film compared to my other ones, in the sense that there are some themes there that somebody already kind of started working with, and then I gave something of my own to it. And so starting with something that somebody already worked through enables you to, I guess, build on top of it already. And I don't know, I'm interested in making more of them. It's just that I don't read quite as many books. Like it takes me, I don't know, quite a bit of time to read them. And also, what I saw recently, I saw like a documentary or like a video about Kubrick, because most of his films are adaptations. And the way he went about it was just reading around. Like he just maybe read a few pages of a book, and if it wasn't really interesting to him, he just threw it away and started a new one, or read a few sections here and there. And if something captivated his attention and he thought this could be a movie, he kept reading it. But otherwise, it's just you have to spend a lot more money on all these books, or stay in the library all the time, read, which is a good, it's reading is very important, but also, in order to really find something that you want to adapt into film, it takes a lot more time, a lot more exploration, I think. What do you think, Ivan?
I have one quick input. Did you know Children of Men, the movie?
Yeah.
Do you know it's adapted by a book?
Yeah, I heard of it. Yeah.
Did you know that the director, Alfonso Cuarón, I think, directed it?
Yeah, he didn't read it, right?
Read.
Yeah, true.
He never read the book.
He never read the book.
No. It's
Interesting.
crazy. The movie is so good. It's one of my favorites, but yeah, he book adaptation. Never read it. Apparently, I don't know if it's true.
Interesting.
I guess it takes a special kind of skill in order to be able to make a movie about something you didn't read.
If you're Quaron, probably you can do it. No, but actually I see it as Marco. So probably sometimes when I either read or listen to something, I just got inputs that I then translate unintentionally into something usually. So maybe you can even think of something, but I think sometimes it just comes on the spot when you're thinking about an idea. But luckily I don't write as much when it comes to personal projects. So that's something that I have to sometimes maybe try to work on a bit more, because else if you don't do it, you just can't do them, because you don't like, you have to write before before shooting. So that's something that you have to find the time.
I wanted to take back something, or one topic that we sort of started before about animation as short film and or feature films, because you said, Marco, that you prefer short films, and like especially if it's animated, and I heard also from somebody else who I talked to about animation that they think that short films are a better medium for animation, because you can explore like most stories. I think they said they could sort of fit into a short film, and you can explore them a bit more. Also in technical sense, you can experiment more. And if it's a feature film, I guess there's a lot more that goes into it. Like the story has to be also a bit more intricate, and not always. You see some films which are about one or two people and they're interesting, but usually when I watch an animated feature film, the story is very reduced and there's not a lot going on in terms of plot, and it's a lot more about experimenting with animation, unless it's a studio film like Pixar or something. So I wonder, so Marco, you kind of said your thoughts about that, but I was wondering, Konstantin, what do you think about that? What is your preference in terms of animation and the length of the stories?
In the beginning, I was more into like feature films and long formats, but now I'm also on short films. And as Marco said, it's a bit the same, because you have like this small concept packaged in a short movie, and it's like a chapter that closes. And I think I really like this, this format. Also because when you are on festivals, you can watch a lot of movies, and you can join the vision and minds of directors, and you have like, I don't know, 5 movies in 1 hour or even more. I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also in Switzerland, I guess the industry is not really equipped for making a lot of feature films. They cost a lot more people needed.
Yeah, finances probably.
Mm-hmm. But
and spectators actually in the end, because it's also that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Sauvage. Like I don't know, is Claude Barra the only one who is making feature films, animated feature films in Switzerland?
Stop motion.
No,
Or in
stop
general.
motion.
In general, I guess.
In general, I think Anya Kofmel is making, but it's more like a documentary, Doc Annie.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, maybe the Guillaume brothers, but I don't know what they're working on right now.
What did they make before?
What's it called?
Max and Co. No, Marion? I was confused.
I think it's Max and Co. It was a stop motion, but I think it's like 15 years ago, 12. It's quite old. I've never seen it, but I think they moved on to 3D now. Yeah. I don't know if anyone...
Max and Co.
That's Swiss. I thought it was from some other country. I don't remember why, but okay.
Maybe it was a co-production with France.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a lot of money that France has, but Switzerland doesn't. So it's good to get some French money for films as well. Also, just a bit more about the work that you did together. We also saw the ident that you made for Adult Swim afterwards, with the characters of Dude. Was that after your studies?
Yes.
Okay, and how did that come about?
Yeah.
Also, if you could also tell us, like, how did the collaboration with like Adult Swim start, and yeah, how did it lead you to the ident, and then also the double of or nothing? Like, how did that collaboration work?
Do you want to tell it, Marco?
I can, yeah. I think first I got asked for the Animat event. Do you know it?
Yeah, Ivan, do you?
Yeah,
If you could explain it really
I
quickly.
yeah, I got asked by Olivier to make something, and then I proposed like we do it together. And I think then Tanai said like, oh, let's ask Adult Swim if they wanna join, because Dude was already supported by Adult Swim. And then I think also the school wanted to test like the motion control, the robot arm. So I was like 3 in 1. Yeah. And I think we only got paid by the school to test the robot arm. And I think we did it like over 4 weekends or something, right?
Yeah, only
Yeah.
4 weekends.
Yeah, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think, yeah.
Okay, because you already had the props, and you just had to build the set, right?
Some props we had to build, but the main thing was already there. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting though, because also does it? I don't know. Does the quality of work also change when you work on such a shorter project? Because I mean, from 5 minutes to 20 seconds, it's already quite a jump. Like, do you change the way you work, or you just work the same way but for just 3 scenes?
I think it was a lot of shots for like 20 seconds. But also it was, I think it's the first time I tested out like a bit of motion blur in camera. And yeah, we just needed to use like the robot arm to have like crazy camera movements and everything. But no, it was like, I think the same approach as we did on Dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
And for Dude, how did you get in touch with Adult Swim in the first place?
They like it's the same guy from Cartoon Network that we did like the fantastic the Adventure Time ident, and he reached out and like he really liked our work and he wanted to ask like if we're open to collaborate with them for our bachelor project. Yeah.
Did they leave you like a lot of creative freedom for Dude and then the ident as well?
Yeah, completely. I think he had just had some inputs. Yeah, because it was first. Oh, sorry. I think the first idea was horrible, and he said like, yeah, we can do it, but it was really horrible. So then we changed it, and
I
he
think
was really open to the change.
I think in the beginning it was more like for Cartoon Network, and at some point he said like, maybe it's more for Adult Swim, because we had a lot of Zoom meetings with him, and I think the humor of the story didn't match at some point. Also,
No, I think if we did it for
or was
Cartoon
it?
Network, we had to work with the characters from Cartoon Network.
Yeah, right. It was this. Yeah.
From Adult Swim, you can do what you
Yeah.
want. You didn't have to choose like Rick and Morty or anything. You
Right.
do anything, and for Cartoon Network, we would have to use their characters, which we didn't want for our bachelor project, I guess. Yeah. I think it was like that.
Okay. And did they also produced Double or Nothing, did they?
I have no idea about that.
Okay.
No.
Are they in the credits? I think, yeah.
Maybe
They
distribution.
were kind of.
Or maybe distribution. I don't know. Yeah, could be because I think I saw like something to do with Warner Brothers or Adult Swim and Double or Nothing. We'll check, but I think I saw it before. Yeah.
maybe like a bit of money, but I didn't see nothing from that. No, I don't know.
And the other studio was it Blinking, right? Did they provide some like also support in terms of, I don't know, did they have some animators or somebody, or were they mainly producing the film?
They were providing like how do you say, like some Elliot Deer. He was kind of like helping as a mentor for shaping the story, and then also the voice actor, I think, was from Blink Inc. or they organized it. It was mainly like help they were providing, yeah, because they liked the work before, but it was not really clear for really long. But yeah, so it ended up that they were providing kind of mentorship. Yeah.
All right.
So thank you for being with us, and we see each other in the next episode.
See you.